My sister-in-law licked my face, and now my brother is not talking to me.
Huh?
All right, I'm sorry for the title, but that's as concise as I could be about it. I am 22 male, and my brother is 28 male. He has been engaged to his fiancée for a few months now. She is 24. My brother's fiancée is your typical spoiled party girl, and to be honest, so is my brother. In the last year or so, my brother and I have had a strained relationship. This is mostly due to differences of opinion when helping take care of my mom, who is struggling with some PTSD/anxiety. She got held hostage by a man at her job, is still recovering, and not back to work yet.
Jesus.
For some context, my brother is a very impatient and opinionated person who struggles to see things outside his own perspective. He doesn't have a good grasp on mental health. He is easily persuaded by what he reads online, gets caught up in conspiracy theories, and I noticed COVID/the pandemic kind of exasperated all of this. I work as a paramedic, and he has been arguing with me about thinking that I know better than him ever since. I am adopted, and my bio mom was of a different ethnicity, so we don't look like brothers. When he can't think of a way to win an argument, he brings up the fact that I'm not her real son or his real brother. It wasn't always like this between us, which is sad. He's just not the same person, and I'm not sure if it's work stress/life stress or what. I get that this post is going to be skewed by my perspective, but I'll try to be objective when it comes to the conflict. My birthday was last weekend when this happened. My brother's fiancé apparently had the idea to throw me a surprise party. Most of the people there were friends of my brother and the fiancé. Everyone was drunk. They made a bit of a show, bringing me out a cake and having me blow out the candles. Before I did that, my brother's fiancé swiped frosting on her finger and put it on my cheek. I thought it was her just being nice and not trying to smash a piece of cake in my face. I blew out the candles, and after I did that, his fiancé grabbed my face and licked it. Like, from my jaw all the way up the side of my face.
Ew.
I have no idea why she did this. We don't even have that kind of relationship where it would be funny. My brother's face changed. His demeanor changed. He became very withdrawn and irritable. They were seen quietly fighting, and he ended up leaving the party. I brought it up the next day to make sure he was okay, and apparently the two of them made up. It's me he has an issue with. I don't know what she told him, but it seems like as if I'm the one being made out to be flirting with her, wanting her, etc. Not even remotely true. I told him to leave me out of his relationship problems. It's his partner who disrespected him and embarrassed him. He's angry at the wrong person. I refuse to apologize. Apparently, I am going to be out of the wedding unless I do. He's upset because I won't admit to my mistake. Well, I don't feel like I made one. Should I just do it for the sake of settling it? Normally, I'm willing to be the bigger person, but this is a false accusation I don't want attached to myself. Am I the asshole?
For what? For literally what?
Getting licked.
You were a victim. I would point blank ask him, what did you want me to do? Smack her?
Right?
As she's licking? Like, how did you want me to stop it?
I can just imagine, like, playfully puts the ice in there. You're like, well, gonna have to wash my face after I blow out the candles. And then right after, like, they sing the happy birthday and you blow, she comes in and just like, and just like up your whole side of your face. And you're just like, you're just kind of like, you either have two reactions, like you like jump away right away, or you just like, you're shocked.
You're frozen.
And you're frozen. You just like kind of like let it happen. Then you look at them, you're like, what the fuck was that?
That's wild. Did the brother ask his fiance why she did that? Why is this being put on OP? I would love to know what his ideal situation would have been.
Right?
Because, yeah, did you want me to yell at her? Did you want me to physically stop her? Like, what did you want me to do?
Not still his fault.
That's crazy. He's literally a victim.
Yeah. One of the top comments, your brother and his fiance are behaving like children. If you apologize for this incident, then it's likely that he will continue to treat you with disrespect. If he takes you out of the wedding, he will have to explain the reasons to others. which should prove embarrassing for him and his fiance. Perhaps you should call him on his bluff. Regardless, not the asshole. And OP says, you know what? I'm not opposed to threatening him like that. Thank you.
That's actually so true. It's like, wait, what do you mean your brother's not part of your wedding party anymore? Oh, yeah, my fiance licked his face, so he's not in it anymore.
Right?
I feel like at that point, they won't use that excuse,
No,
though.
they'll say something else.
Yeah. Because they know it's stupid.
My brother was hitting on my fiance.
Yeah, like they would twist it as like OP was flirting with his fiance, and he was the instigator. He was the one coming on to her, and
this story reminds me of another one of your weirdo behaviors. Sometimes we'll just lay on the couch cuddling, and you'll just lick my arm.
You do that too,
right? But the difference is you absolutely hate it.
Yeah, I do.
When I lick you.
Yeah, I do.
And then the hypocrisy comes in.
Yeah.
And you'll just be like, you'll like, give me a little dab with your tongue, and then you think it's funny and cute. But if I react and I lick you back, it's like, oh my God, you're disgusting. That's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody else do that?
You don't hate it.
No. But I hate the fact. No, I hate the fact that it's not equal and I can't do it back. Not fair.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't like being wet.
Oh, but you like making people wet, making me wet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else have this issue? So there's another comment. Not the asshole. I wouldn't cave either. Here's what I think. It's cliche, but you're probably the hotter, smarter brother. Your brother has insecurity issues about his relationship, intelligence, and other things, so usually those people tend to get jealous easily and have paranoia about losing their partner to someone else. Not excusing the fiancé either, because she definitely tried to keep herself innocent/victim and put everything on you when your brother confronted her. It's a cop-out, but it's easier for him to pin it on you versus her. Her being closer in age to you, I bet she does have a crush, or at least some kind of attraction to you, and it came up when she was drunk. If she didn't lie, I wouldn't think that, but the lying means she's trying to cover up feelings. Info. Has she flirted in the past? And OP replies and says, I never thought about it actually, and nothing really stands out. She's obsessed with K-pop, and I am half Korean. So she's made comments to me, but I didn't interpret them as flirting. I thought she was just trying to be nice and don't know how else to connect when I shared about the whole being adopted thing. When she's sober, she is more awkward/shy. My brother lives with my mom, so usually when I visit and we're talking, my mom and brother are around too, and it's more of a family vibe.
Maybe it's like a kink that she has.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Who licks someone's face as a joke in public, and then who does it to their like brother-in-law?
I would agree with this comment that she probably like got drunk and her intrusive thoughts came in and her intrusive thoughts won.
Imagine I just lick my face.
That's what I'm picturing.
Right?
That's what I'm picturing.
I would be like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, like that would be fucking weird.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not surprised actually by the reaction of the brother, because just from like the little bit of background that we have on him, he brings up the fact that he's adopted in every argument when he's losing.
Brother piece of shit.
Yeah, that just says everything I need to know about him, because like when it comes to like arguing like two different sides of a story or whatever, two different points of views, and someone brings up like when someone goes low,
right?
When they have nothing else to say.
Like when they have to win, but they can't win.
Yeah, that's just very telling. I've lost respect for you at that point, because it's like, okay, now you're like grasping at straws and you're just trying to be petty, and it's a low blow.
Right?
It's embarrassing.
If I have an argument with someone and maybe they're right and they're stuck on them being right, and I'm not trying to convince them that they're right, my response is usually like, well, you could be right. Yes. I'm not sure if I'm there yet with that. I still think this. We'll have to agree to disagree, or maybe find a way to find the answer or something. Like, I feel like I have a diplomatic approach to it, where even if your opinion is this, I'm not hating on you. I'm like, hey, you could be right. I don't necessarily agree with you, but there's a strong chance you're still right. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's not become enemies from it.
Exactly.
So one more comment on the original post. Not the asshole. What I don't get is why you'd even want to attend the wedding. You have a strained relationship. He does not see you as a brother with the not your mom jabs. His relationship does not seem to be on very stable footing, and he will become more and more erratic. You should put as much polite distance between you and your brother / his relationship for your own peace of mind. He seems to have already singled you out as a future scapegoat. And OP replies and says, "This one hurts. I think I need to hear it though. You're not wrong. I guess I'm always just trying to understand him, and I need to stop doing that, especially when he's not giving me that same kind of understanding. I thought we could get back to the relationship we had before, but it's not looking like it's getting any better." So an update comes 10 days later. After trying to reach out to my brother, he finally came around and stopped ignoring me. He didn't want to talk about what happened, but was willing to put it behind us. To be honest, I think talking about it would have been healthier, but I decided to let it go because he was so adamant. Then, just the other day, he came to me on his own and admitted that he feels unsure about his relationship and is struggling to trust his fiancée ever since the incident on my birthday.
Wow.
I told him there's no rush to get married and he should take some time to figure out what he's feeling. I didn't try to give any particular opinion because I feel like this is something he needs to figure out for himself. Also, I generally don't know what's going on between them. He still took it the wrong way somehow and we ended up having an argument. He thinks I'm not happy for him and I don't want to see him successful / starting a family. I tried to walk away at this point in the conversation because no matter what I said, it was going to get misconstrued, but he didn't want to stop fighting. Somewhere in that, I finally learned why he's so mad at me these days. It turns out he's pissed that our mom paid for my tuition. I have been doing a lot of overtime to pay her back. If it matters, she doesn't actually want me to pay her back. It was a gift, but I'd like to pay her back slowly. My brother feels this money should have been given to him for his wedding, which I am no longer invited to.
Ooh.
I don't really know how to fix things, but that's where we're at.
Oh, okay. So it seems like he has mommy issues.
Yeah, he's got some mommy issues, and he still lives with mommy.
But kind of valid though. Like, why is the mom paying for OP's tuition and... Like, does she pay for the brother's tuition?
I don't know. Maybe the brother didn't go to school or something.
I feel like you should still make it even in some way.
I agree, but she said that he paid for his schooling, but he wanted the money for his wedding. Not, oh, she paid for your schooling, but not my schooling. I wanted money for something else.
Yeah, so I guess we don't have those facts.
So that makes me feel like why it's not even is like maybe he would have got money if he went to school or something. Not 100% sure there. If they both went to school and she paid for his tuition and he's got loans for his, okay, yeah, I'd be upset from that too. But if he didn't,
but also still not the brother's fault. It's still not OP's fault.
Yeah, it's not his decision. You should be mad at your mom.
Exactly. The brother is getting mad at the wrong people here.
Yep.
OP is just the punching bag for this guy.
So that update was 10 days later, and then 16 days later, there's another update. My mom and brother got into it over the weekend. I've accepted being uninvited for my brother's wedding, but her mom wasn't having it. She was trying to understand where his anger is coming from. The problem is, I don't think he knows, and having conversations where he's questions about it just makes everything worse. I wasn't present. It's something my mom called me about. Apparently, after his explosion at her, he stormed out into the cold, without shoes. She got worried.
What?
I have realized that I'm not the person he wants to see in those moments, or the person he wants to receive help from. I want to be that person, and I'll always be available in the background, but somehow I've become a part of his problem. My presence only ever fuels his anger. For that reason, I told my mom to contact his fiancée, and she did. Fiancé brought him back to the house, and my mom didn't mention the wedding or anything else. She told me today that they started talking normally to each other again. I've also talked to my mom privately. I've made it clear that I'm not attending, and she should give up on having me there. She initially wanted to threaten her own attendance, but we decided that she should support my brother in hopes of leaving a line of communication with at least one family member. My mom is really heartbroken. I thought about contacting his fiancée, then decided against it. Reading a lot of the comments I received, many of you pointed out that I need to stop trying to fix things. Some people took it too far and wrote me violent little DMs because the last line of the previous update made them feel some type of way, but I've had people in the back of my truck say and do a whole lot worse. It takes a lot more than some words on a screen. but I get it. And I will acknowledge it, actually, that I think that's one of my biggest flaws, the need to fix things. I won't get into why I'm like this. I probably need therapy of my own, given the lengths I'll go to, and how maladaptive it sometimes gets. Anyway, promise I'm not fixing this. As far as an update goes, this is probably my final one. I'm bowing out of my brother's downward spiral. It's the only thing I can do for him right now. The rest I will deal with personally in time. I came on here for some perspective, and I feel like I've gotten that, so thank you.
Yeah, it's much better this way. I do think, though, that the brother will probably come back around and be begging for him back in his life, because I don't think the brother is stable emotionally. I think he's like, his emotions are like up and down, and I think he will soon realize that like he's being a big baby.
Yeah,
and
right?
Being unreasonable.
Maybe just needs to give him time.
Yeah. But I wouldn't even say, like, it's up to you. I mean, if you want to have that relationship, rekindle that relationship afterwards, but it sounds like he's not really doing much for you in this relationship.
What does he add? What does he add?
It sounds like he's just bringing you stress, and
it's a familial tie.
Yeah.
That's bringing you down.
Yeah.
What value is he adding?
Yeah, exactly.
So all of those were posted in AITA, and then 5 months later, the OP makes a post in r/advice titled, "I'm burning out. I'm 22 male. I work as a paramedic in New York City. The pay isn't great here, and the call volume is overwhelming. I recently had a very traumatic call, and I can't stop thinking about it. Last year, I got scouted for modeling, which I did on the side, but only made about $12,000. Not enough to quit my day job, and that isn't necessarily my goal, but it helped me take on less overtime. Other than that, I've thought about becoming a flight medic for the significant bump in pay, but all roads feel like they lead to further burnout. I'm constantly running on empty. Night shifts are brutal for me. I think about leaving my job all the time, and yet I work so much that I'm simultaneously locked in, which leaves no room to think about alternatives. I try to convince myself it's just the weather, that spring is around the corner, and as it warms up, I'll probably cheer up soon. Maybe this weight I have in my chest will lift, or at least become less heavier. I keep thinking of relocating to work the same job somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, or maybe another career. I have some savings set aside for a degree. Someone told me all my hobbies are too adrenaline heavy, and maybe that's contributing something to the way that I feel. I never saw it like that, though. I also have a brother who struggles with addiction. He was recently diagnosed with bipolar disorder. He has had 2 overdoses in the last month and a half. His wife keeps finding a way to dissuade him from treatment programs. The second overdose occurred on a day pass that she was an escort for.
Huh?
I have no contact with my brother and his wife. I am low contact with my mom, who I have a good relationship with, but she lives with my brother. Oh. Unfortunately, when my mom reaches out to me desperate for my help, I feel like I have to respond. I don't know why I made this post. I don't even have a clear question to ask you guys, but I'm just wanting some kind of objective outsider opinion. What would you do in my shoes?
Damn. Okay. Well, okay.
Got some
updates
on the wedding and the brother.
Yeah, there's like 2 parts to this. The job thing, I feel like I could relate. Like,
I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, especially like I can totally see it being a paramedic.
I couldn't imagine.
My cousin's a paramedic.
Yeah.
And I just think that being in like a trauma.
Yeah. Anything.
Paramedic or like a trauma surgeon in the emergency room at the hospital.
Nurse, doctor.
Yeah. I just feel like that is like the most heaviest possible job that you can have, because you were just on a roller coaster of other people's life or death situations, terrible car wrecks. You are seeing people die. You are seeing blood. You are seeing trauma in a lot of situations, and you try your best, and sometimes you can't save people. I just feel like that is like one of the heaviest emotional jobs out there.
100%. Yeah. You have to be built differently to do those types of jobs.
Yeah, I think so.
And mad respect to anybody who is out there doing that. But also, I feel like totally valid to feel this way, even in any job. Like I would feel like even if you're out there and you're like working a desk job and you're like, I'm burnt out, like you can still feel that way, but especially being a paramedic,
I feel like, yeah, you can definitely feel like the work world grind on you, like no matter what you are, and feeling pressure to do overtime to earn that money no matter what job. I just think it's even tenfold with these kind of jobs because 100%. You're going through an emotional roller coaster of like not just being burnt out from the job, but also being burnt out from like literal traumatic experiences of trying to save someone's life and then it being unsuccessful.
Yeah.
That would be so painful.
Yeah. He was saying he doesn't know if he should get another job or do something else. I think you should probably look. You're still 22.
Yeah.
Can you see yourself doing this for another 40 years?
Right? That's a great question too.
If you're feeling this way now, you've probably only been in the field for a couple years. Like, I would be looking elsewhere like that.
I would absolutely recommend, mixing it up. Even if you do get a paramedic in the Pacific Northwest, do that. That sounds amazing. Even a flight medic, even if you still want to like use your credentials that you have, like just mix it up. Maybe a new job, different location would change things for you and keep things fresh and postpone that burnout. And maybe a change of scenery and location could determine whether or not you actually want a career change, or maybe you're happier in a different environment.
And then the part with the brother and the mom living with the brother, when did that come in? Because
no, I mean, even in the last stories, he was living with his mom.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that.
It seems like the wife has now moved in with both of them.
Yeah, naturally.
The part where it says the second OD occurred on a day pass that she was an escort for. I had to read that a couple of times, but what my understanding is he was in rehab and he was allowed to be like out of rehab on like a day pass to go like do stuff in the city outside the facility.
Oh, yeah.
And a person's going to sign him in and sign him out and escort him. And his wife was that person and then let him do drugs while she was escorting. And he OD'd while on a day pass away from the rehab center.
That's fucking wild.
That is wild.
That's like the one person
who's supposed
that
to
can help you. That's probably the only person he would listen to.
Right.
And she is sabotaging him.
Yeah. So top comment on that post. Take some days off, honey. Don't feel bad, but love your brother from afar. That's what we have to do with addicts. Let him know you love him and want to support his recovery. Decide what of your options will be the most fulfilling yet manageable. You are so young and you already seem to be killing it. Maybe too much. Seasonal depression is a thing. I live in Minnesota. The winters are long, even though this year has not been bad. If you want to move someplace for better weather, do it. Now is the time. You also aren't responsible for your mom. You can love her from afar if you need to. I guarantee you will be fine. I can tell you will figure it out. But seriously, take some days off. And Opie replies and says, thank you. I think I need to learn to love from afar. It's something I can't seem to figure out how to do. The responsibility to be there during a crisis feels so crushing. I'll consider taking some time off. Maybe that's the one thing that will give me clarity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the final update comes 10 days later. Am I the asshole for wanting to leave my family and move across the country? I, 22 male, have been low contact with my mom for months now because I'm no contact with my brother, and both him and his wife live with her. In an ideal world, I would be able to maintain a good relationship with my mom, but it's really hard to have that right now. My brother has had 2 overdoses in the last 2 months or so. He's spiraling so fast. Any attempts at treatment are rebuked by his wife, but she'll show up at my door to cry and try to convince me to drive her around and go looking for him. Oh. He has tried to use my identity to commit fraud. Luckily, the activity got flagged by my bank. He also attempted to sign up on a gambling site using my information. He was so desperate for money around New Year's that he stole the battery from my motorcycle. My mom calls me in a crisis all the time requesting to help in dealing with my brother. Sometimes I think she's calling just for me, and I'll almost share something only to find out she was just making polite conversation before she could work up the courage to ask for my help. I work as a paramedic, so between work and my family, it feels like I never get a break. I have never shared my feelings with them or anyone really. I just know I'm reaching my limit. A friend of mine has encouraged me to move in with him and split rent. I told my mom when she found out I sold my motorcycle. She didn't take it well. She said I was their lifeline. She told me if I leave, I should be ready to live with the fact that I will be letting my brother die and that I'm abandoning them during a time of hardship. The thing is, I still want to go.
You have to do what's best for you. Oh my God. I can understand the pressure, but if you don't go, like, where will you end up? Like,
right?
You're also crashing out. This is not, you have to think about yourself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. That's really kind of sick and twisted that your mom said you are the lifeline, putting that pressure on you. And if your brother dies, that's on you.
No, it's on him.
How is that on OP? OP's not even, he has no contact with him.
Yeah, how is this related to OP at all?
People need to take responsibility for their own actions.
You don't get to treat people like shit and then expect them to be your lifeline.
Yeah, 100%.
So top comment on that post, not the asshole. Your mom saying that you'll be letting your brother die is emotional blackmail. Mm-hmm. Full stop. That's not love or support. She's shouldering you with guilt dressed as a family obligation. I could bet her parenting, specifically her boundary stomping, is a particular factor that led to your brother's substance abuse. And it's not your responsibility. You didn't choose your brother's addiction. You didn't ask to be the emotional punching bag for your mother's inability to set boundaries. You're not the one running from rehab or committing fraud. Don't become just another EMT saving lives while your own life quietly falls apart. You're 22. That's still so young to be carrying the emotional weight of an entire collapsing household. No one is built to live in that kind of pressure cooker forever. Not even a paramedic. Moving away doesn't make you cruel. It makes you brave. You're not running from your family. You're choosing yourself for once. And honestly, that might be the first time in your life that you've been allowed to do that without someone laying a guilt trip on your back. You can still love people and walk away. You can care without self-sacrifice. You can say, this isn't mine to fix, and still have a beating heart. It's not abandonment. It's self-preservation. You're not an addiction counselor. So yeah, it hurts. It always does when you're the one breaking the cycle. But the fact that you still want to go after all that guilt that's been thrown at you, that says everything. You know this is the right move. You just needed someone to tell you it's okay to follow through.
100% completely agree with the statement that he said, that this person said. You would be brave if you left.
Yeah.
You would be, because it is definitely harder to leave something that is like comfortable and something that you feel complicit in, rather than put yourself first.
Yeah.
You would be doing the best thing for yourself, and honestly, it would be respected by a lot of people other than your mom.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice not to.
Yeah.
Oh, started with a weirdo behavior and then went deep down a rabbit hole.
I went deep, yeah. Mine are more light.
All right, let's bring it to you to pick up the mood.
All right.